Hi guys, it's Chad. Welcome back to Warthog Defense. In the aftermath of the battle in Avdiivka, accounts from Russian soldiers shed light on the intensity of the conflict. Now, a US volunteer who fought there provides a chilling first-hand description of the horrors and Russian losses endured in the fierce battle. We are talking about mindless zombie attacks and walking over corpses. Gruesome.
Russians entered Avdiivka and thought they'd keep going, but now they're getting obliterated in Lastochkin, to the west of the town. Damn, in general the guys sent me something, but they didn't allow me to post it. In short, Lastochkino is being wiped out. It's a mess there. They firing from everything, and by the way, clusters too. Here is the footage. Ukrainians continue to ambush Russians in Avdiivka. This is a great post from Ryan O'Leary from the Chosen Company fighting for Ukraine. Casualty in Avdiivka-wise, Bakhmut was likely higher. Deaths only wise, Avdiivka was likely 2 times worse for the Russians than Bakhmut. The easiest way to explain why is terrain and the built-up fortifications, even in the areas at the flanks. The opening day of Russian offensive in our sector, over a dozen BMPs were destroyed before they even got within 800 meters of Ukrainian lines. The infantry on and in that initial assault were caught out in the open and mowed down rather quickly. One defensive operation that we were on, 16 of Chosen and 8 Ukrainians, Javelin teams fly snipers, destroyed 4 BMPs, damaged one that made it under a bridge with 6 others that escaped unharmed after dropping troops more than 300 meters away from the line in the field. 2 BTRs destroyed. 2 tanks, one of which was destroyed by one of the craziest tank maneuvers by a UA tank team I ever saw, and more than 70 infantry killed or wounded. The Russians successfully pushed us out of the trench to another friendly trench. There was only 10 defenders in that one trench, with reserve force and supporting fires overwatch being provided from nearby trench 200 meters away, and took control of the trench, which was then blown with demolitions, FPV, and artillery once the surviving Russians, around 12, grouped up into it. Our losses that day were 4 Ukrainian killed, 2 Chosen killed, Gander and Stremsky, and everyone minor or moderately wounded with frag. The human cost of Russia's Avdiivka sector endeavor likely cost them 100K Yankie easily. Day after day, for 2 or 3 weeks, they continuously attempted to run armor at fortified lines. In our sector, after they ran out of BMPs and BTRs, they used troop transport trucks, Kamaz type, to try and get infantry as close as possible. These vehicles, more often than not, were hit by FPV or drones waited for dismount and hit infantry with droppers. We made it a point to try and hit every enemy soldier still alive. If they crawled into a bunker, thermobaric. If they were crawling in an open field, grenade drop. Mid to end November, though, something changed. No longer were the Russians attempting 50-plus men assaults. They'd move in groups of 8 to 12 men. If 2 or 3 made it, they'd hide amongst the rubble. The next group would move 5 to 15 minutes behind the first, and they'd do the same. Once the survivors regrouped and had 20 or so men spread in 2 or more positions, they'd then push forward while a new rear element pushed up from behind, and they'd mass creeping fires and drones while doing so. Only stopping once the Russian infantry were within 25 to 50 meters of our positions. They adapted their tactics to run as a mass of smaller human waves with less armor and more foot infantry to knock out a few meters of the killing fields or gray area at a time. They didn't try to dig in. They just hid wherever they could. One position we consistently fought over ended up with dead soldiers stacked around it. There was well over 100 Russians strewn about in front and inside of it. Our fallen Ukrainians, around 10 or so that were taken in the 3 weeks of holding it. We had organized to the rear area of the fighting line in hopes of getting their remains out. Some we were able to, others we weren't. We did take dozens upon dozens of wounded trying to hold, and took a lot of wounded and killed trying to retrieve remains of fallen and wounded soldiers from positions. I'd say 20 to 35% of all our wounded in the sector was trying to get remains or wounded out. You'd spend more time trying to organize where to throw the dead or move the dead out of firing lines than attempting to rebuild the positions daily. And again, Avdiivka at night.
Друзья, вот это вот Авдеевка, чтобы вы понимали. Вот это Авдеевка. Что там происходит сейчас? Дрожит весь Донбасс. Сейчас ездим, помогаем, тут пациков вывозим. Стали поссать.
A list of Russian brigades and formations that were thrown at Avdiivka. It took tens of thousands of top fighters and 4 months to create numerical superiority and break through the Ukrainian defense, which lacked ammunition. Many of these Russian brigades lost more than 60% of its personnel. The congratulatory telegram that Vladimir Putin sent to the commander of the Center Group, Colonel General Mordvichev, in connection with the capture of Avdiivka, reveals the units that took part in the active phase of the operation. 30th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Central Military District, 35th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Central Military District, 55th Separate Motorized Rifle Mountain Brigade of the Central Military District, 74th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Central Military District, 1st Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the 1st AC, 9th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the 1st AC, 114th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the 1st AC, 1454th Motorized Rifle Regiment, 10th Tank Regiment of the 1st AK, 6th Tank Regiment of the 90th Tank Division of the Central Military District, 80th Tank Regiment of the 90th Tank Division of the Central Military District, 239th Tank Regiment of the 90th Tank Division of the Central Military District. On our own behalf, we would also add that the Veterans Brigade, partially involved Army Special Forces units, and the Aerospace Forces took part. Thus, more than 15 formations of the Central Military District and the 1st Army Corps of the DPR took part in the Avdiivka operation.
Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video. Stay with Warthog Defense. Comment, like, subscribe, become our member, and stay strong.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.